Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has denounced the missile strike on an eastern train station as another Russian war crime and says Ukraine expects a tough global response. Like the S in Bucha, like many other Russian war crimes, the missile attack on Kramatorsk should be one of the charges at the tribunal that must be held, he said during his nightly video address to the nation on Friday. Warning: this story contains graphic images and details that may disturb some readers. Mr. Zelensky told Ukrainians that great efforts would be taken to establish every minute of who did what, who gave what orders, where the missile came from, who transported it, who gave the command and how this strike was agreed, so that those behind the attack would be held responsible. Here is the latest on Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Toll from train station missile strike rises. Ukrainian soldiers clear out borders after the rocket attack in Kramatorsk. Ukrainian officials say at least 52 people have been, including 5 children, and over 100 wounded by a Russian rocket strike on a railway station in East Ukraine, where civilians were trying to evacuate to safer parts of the country. The state rail company said 2 Russian rockets struck a station in the city of Kramatorsk, which was being used to evacuate civilians from areas being armed by Russian forces. About 4,000 people, most of them elderly, women and children, were at the station when it was struck, Kramatorsk Mayor Alexander Honkarenko said. There are many people in a serious condition, without arms or legs, Mayor Gonkarenko said. Even with 30 to 40 surgeons working, the local hospital was struggling, he said. Russia's defense ministry denied launching a missile strike on the station, saying its army had no targets assigned in Kramatorsk on Friday. It accused Ukraine of carrying out the attack, in a statement carried by state news agency RIA Novosti. So did the region's Moscow-backed separatists, who work closely with Russian regular troops. Experts refuted Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov's assertion that Russian forces do not use that type of missile, saying Russia has used it during the war. One analyst added that only Russia would have reason to target railway infrastructure in the Donbass. Britain's Defence Minister, Ben Wallace, denounced the attack as a war crime, and UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres called it completely unacceptable. M to mute, left and right arrows to seek, up and down arrows for volume. Watch 1 minute 8 seconds 1 minute, and 8 seconds at least 50 evacuees in Russian rocket strike on Ukrainian train station. Bodies recovered from mass graves in Bucha. In Bucha, Mayor Anatoly Fedorak has said investigators found at least 3 sites of mass S of civilians, and were still finding bodies in yards, parks and city squares, 90% of whom were shot. Russia has falsely claimed that the scenes in Bucha were staged. A satellite image from late March shows the mass grave site near the Church of St. Andrew in Bucha, Ukraine. On Friday, workers pulled corpses from a mass grave near a town church under spitting rain, lining up black body bags in rows in the mud. About 67 people were buried in the grave, according to a statement from Prosecutor General Irina Venediktova's office, which is investigating those S and other mass casualties involving civilians as possible war crimes. The ings around Kiev were revealed when Russian forces pulled back after failing to take the capital in the face of stiff resistance. Russian troops have now set their sights on the Donbass, the mostly Russian-speaking, industrial region where Moscow-backed rebels have been fighting Ukrainian forces for 8 years and control some areas. EU condemns Bucha cruelty, offers speedy start for Ukraine membership. European Commission Chief Ursula von der Leyen said the civilian S in the Ukrainian town of Bucha showed the cruel face of Russia's army and pledged to try to speed Ukraine's bid to become a member of the European Union. During a visit to Bucha, where forensic investigators have started to exhume bodies from a mass grave, Ms. von der Leyen looked visibly moved by what she saw in the town northwest of Kiev, where Ukrainian officials say hundreds of civilians were by Russian forces. There are almost no words for it, Ms. von der Leyen told reporters in Ukraine. The cynical behavior by Russia has almost no benchmark anymore. Saying the EU could never match the sacrifice of Ukraine, Ms. von der Leyen offered it a speedier start to its bid for bloc membership. Handing President Volodymyr Zelensky a questionnaire that will form a starting point for a decision on membership, she said, "It will not, as usual, be a matter of years to form this opinion, but I think a matter of weeks. Russia will descend into economic, financial and technological decay, while Ukraine is marching towards the European future. This is what I see," Ms. von der Leyen said. Ukrainian officials have almost daily pleaded with Western powers to send more arms and to further punish Russia with sanctions and exclusion of Russian banks from the global financial system. M to mute, left and right arrows to seek, up and down arrows for volume. Watch 1 minute 6 seconds 1 minute and 6 seconds. Ukrainian President Zelensky asks EU to impose further sanctions on Russia. Celebrities go online to voice support for Ukraine. A group of intergenerational stars from film, TV, sports and music, including Bruce Springsteen, Madonna, Hugh Jackman, Elton John, Billie Eilish, Jon Bon Jovi and Miley Cyrus, have signed up for a social media campaign to show support for Ukraine. The global citizen-organized social media rally urges governments, institutions, corporations, and individuals to help fund humanitarian efforts in Ukraine and other regions of the world. Celebrities are being asked to use their social media accounts to publicize the effort, using the hashtag #StandUpForUkraine. Loading. Refugees in Ukraine and around the world need our help now, Springsteen said in a social media video posted on Friday. Celine Dion took to Instagram to upload a video of support with a caption in English and French that said, "I'm calling in world leaders to help all those who are forced to leave their homes." The campaign takes place a day before a pledging conference on Saturday, co-hosted by European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. ABC Wires.